Aham averohomi apayapatomi anikohomi sukhiyatanang pariharami mama mata pitu acariyaja nyati mitata sapramacari noja avera hontu apayapata hontu anika hontu sukhiyatanang pariharantu.
Hello everyone, today I wanted to leave a message. I don't know if we'll have the chance to talk like this again, but today is the best day to do so. I've noticed that for a while now, we haven't been making YouTube videos as usual. There's only been the MTwan Dhamma news station reporting breaking news, and then we've gone quiet. We haven't disappeared. It's just that there wasn't anything worth sharing. If anyone who follows the MTwan Suk page has already read it, you've probably already. The story wasn't really worth telling. It was just filled with feelings of sadness and despair. There was no hope, and if there's no hope, I don't want to say anything that will make anyone feel hopeless. But during the period when we weren't making YouTube videos, it turned out that some people who only followed us on YouTube and not on the Facebook page said they didn't follow us there anyway. They just waited for the news on YouTube. We found out about this later. We didn't know that people who followed us on YouTube didn't follow us on Facebook until the news from MTwan Dhamma station came out on YouTube. We don't know how many there are. But when something related to that issue came up, those who followed the Facebook page were too shy to show themselves. It's difficult to get those who follow on YouTube together, which makes the work hard. But finally, at this point, it feels like it's really the end. Because there's a signal from a real source, passed on to real experts. It's a song that the Chinese sang. If translated into Thai, it's "Father, don't cry." But looking at the lyrics translated into Thai, not just the Thai lyrics, but the Chinese lyrics translated into Thai, we understand that it means this. In short, it's about Luang Por Dhammajayo. Nowadays, at Wat Dhammakaya, people only know his guided meditation voice. Even the younger generation who come to the temple to make merit only have the opportunity to hear his guided meditation. They are not allowed to participate in any of the various merit-making activities, even though many projects are initiatives of Luang Por Dhammajayo. For example, the Dhammajayo pilgrimage we see in the pictures, which was an initiative of Luang Por Dhammajayo since 2011, and started for the first time in the year 2012, New Year's Day. And this has continued every year until now, which is the 14th year. But it's incredibly unbelievable that when Luang Por Dhammajayo was charged with criminal offenses and forced out of his position as abbot in 2017, the power of Article 44 was used to raid the temple in order to find and arrest him. But coincidentally, after searching for 3 days, they couldn't find him. Then the government acted as if someone inside the temple was pulling the strings, as mentioned in the novel, Dragon Hiding Its Body, referring to someone with a personal vendetta. But when we look at their background, and up to the present, it's quite clear that they are actually acting on a plan to have Islam conquer Buddhism in Thailand. Some say that they used to be in the south and were Muslims before. Then in 2018, a group led by Mr. I visited and paid respects to the enlightened monk and received confirmation that 06. Our Fra Maha Dr. Somchai was a Muslim who had become a monk. What happened then aligns with the Islamic plan to conquer the country, to assimilate or destroy Buddhism through the use of governing power. There were even documents circulating that contained a full plan for reforming the country into an Islamic system. They use women and money. But many of their plans are straightforward, sending spies to infiltrate, posing as good subordinates or close associates, and climbing the ranks to gain the abbot's trust. Whether it's a man or a woman doesn't matter, but ultimately, you can make the abbot fall into your trap, whether it's through drugs, addiction, or using women as bait. Any method depends on what the abbot is vulnerable to. But with Wat Phra Dhammakaya, when he first became a monk in 2006, he stayed in the temple and developed into a highly knowledgeable and sermon-oriented monk, even earning a doctorate. He has a style that some say is imitating Luang Por Dhammakaya, trying to follow in his footsteps. There's nothing wrong with following in the footsteps of one's father, if done out of filial piety. It means following his father's policies, plans, and aspirations. A good son should follow his father's path, but his motive is to overthrow his father's principles and do things that his father disapproves of, from what I've heard. People who know from the inside have said this from the beginning. The way he preaches, or rather, Luang Por Dhammakaya, delivers, is disliked. The essence of it is that his sermons use high-level terminology, as if he's afraid people won't know he's highly educated. But it makes it difficult for the listeners to understand. Luang Por wants his sermons to reach all levels of followers, not just those with high education. If someone can't understand high-level terminology, that's considered a failure. However, he probably doesn't accept this. He thinks he's capable, but it's not the quality Luang Por is looking for. Luang Por didn't criticize him, he just didn't praise him. From his perspective, he probably thinks everyone admires him, and he has a doctorate, a rarity in the past. He thinks no one else has a higher education than him, and therefore sees himself as someone who could become an abbot. Then, in the year Luang Por Dhammakaya turned 60, he released a song for his Kindergarten of Dreams school that implied his time was running out, that he was getting old, and that he hadn't yet done his true work, meditating with his eyes closed. In that song, he seemed to be asking those with merit and virtue, give them a chance to do some real work. When this song was played in schools, it meant it was being sent to the sponsors, the children who were sponsors outside the temple, those who were virtuous and capable at that time. The fact that this song was played indicated a desire to reach out to those with merit and virtue, those who hadn't yet come to the temple ordained, to receive the signal and encourage them to come to the temple, to ordain as monks, and to receive the teachings. Of course, through the Dhammakaya wisdom he possessed, both his clairvoyance and his Dhamma eye, he already knew who had the merit and virtue to take his place and allow him to confidently continue the dissemination and transmission of the Dhammakaya teachings. He would then join the team and continue the teachings. He used this song to convey this through the Kindergarten of Dreams program, a satellite program broadcast worldwide. In 2013, there were virtuous individuals who fit the criteria, whom he had sought out to take on this responsibility. They were coordinated to form a team and work together in a dream, a secret operation, which he called a special covert operation. Because in that era, starting from 2009, many people experienced it firsthand and shared stories that there were 6 individuals in the temple who intended to become the abbot. The previous abbot must appoint him. But if 06 can't get 01 to accept him, and he wants to be the abbot, how do you think he'll do it? And given his background as a Muslim, what do you think all the Buddhist teachings he's studied are for? Just to be able to see through Buddhists? But it doesn't mean he believes in karma or merit. There are many people who are academically gifted but can't make a living. It's because they studied just to pass exams or to show off their knowledge, but they didn't use it. That's why there are people like that. And 06 is like that too, thinking that his high level of education, especially in Buddhism, is the highest. Therefore, He studies to be able to see through people, to deceive people into thinking he knows, but he doesn't believe in karma or merit at all. And what happens is what he does. What he does to this person, what he does to that person. Those who have experienced it firsthand tell each other, it's quite clear that he doesn't believe in karma or merit. He studies to be able to see through Buddhists only. So, he knows what is evil, but he does it because he doesn't feel that it has any consequences for him. I mean, if people committed sins and there were no consequences, the secular world judged him guilty. He learned a different way, believing he was innocent. If he were guilty, he could be held accountable. But since no one could hold him accountable, it was as if he hadn't done anything wrong. And as long as no one could hold him accountable, he could continue doing what he did. It became a recurring tactic. Then, because he wasn't accepted by the abbot, even on March 10, 2017, when the temple reopened after being besieged for 23 days, the abbot's position was affected by secular news. They claimed he wasn't pure enough to continue as abbot, or wasn't suitable. They used worldly language to say that if he was tainted, he wasn't worthy of being abbot, and therefore he was removed. This means Abbot 01 was removed even though he hadn't committed any crime. He hadn't even been informed of the charges against him. He didn't even know what the charges were. He hadn't even turned himself in because he was ill. And they used intimidation and coercion to rush his arrest, using media and news to sensationalize the situation, making it seem like he was unsuitable. Ultimately, it led to his downfall. From the abbot, even if he needed to receive treatment at the temple, the authorities would have to find a new abbot. Some people said that person number 06 even called the district head monk to ask for appointment as abbot, but the head monk said that if the original abbot was still alive or contactable, the original abbot had to choose who would replace him because each temple has its own policy in establishing it. It depends on the abbot when building each temple. Each abbot has their own reasons for building a temple. Some temples are built to be lived in permanently, just meditating, not interacting with lay people, not receiving guests, not soliciting donations, and would be in a quiet forest temple. But if the temple's policy is to teach Dharma to lay people, then it will be open, and they will teach and preach. If it's a temple that only teaches meditation, it will be open for people to practice Dharma and teach meditation. If it's a temple for ordination, it will teach Dharma, Pali, and so on. It depends on the abbot's policy. In the case of Wat Phra Dhammakaya back in 2017, it was the abbot, the former Luang Por Dhammachayo, who had to announce who would take responsibility. At that time, it was announced that it would be Phra Kru Ithi Ndako, also known as Luang Pai Mu. And to this day, Luang Pai Mu has continued in this role, eventually rising to prominence as an advisor. Most recently, he was appointed as an advisor. However, the mysterious and complex structure of the temple, the behind-the-scenes workings, are things that the people within the temple cannot access. The temple staff themselves don't know. Those who enter the temple but are outsiders cannot know anything. If the temple doesn't allow it, then it becomes a matter of the deep secrets within the temple that no one knows what's happening. Those who know and disagree have been eliminated. Those who remain are those who agree with the policies or have received some kind of benefit. This is why, even though there were irregularities from the beginning, when Luang Por Dhammachayo was accused of criminal offenses, whatever they may be, because of his true innocence, no one within the temple, no one who is a disciple of the monks or who manages the temple, could find a way to help him get out. The issue of being guilty or having an arrest warrant issued against someone is something that can be resolved because no crime has been committed yet. It's not like the court has ruled you guilty and then you flee. That's very difficult. But here, it's just about not appearing to acknowledge the charges. And it's escalated to the point of an arrest warrant being issued. Resolving this isn't difficult, but the problem is that within the temple, there's no attempt to resolve it. And those who don't resolve it aren't just anyone. They're the ones who think they're the smartest, those who follow in the footsteps of 01, and have been following in the footsteps of 01 all along. They've become people who can leave the temple comfortably today, without anyone opposing them or caring about them. This allows them to dictate and command whatever they want, wherever they want, and make everything go according to their wishes. And they are 06, doing what Islam wants. Is this an accusation? It's just information that has come from various sources. And judging from the circumstances, that's how it is. We're sharing this even though we haven't seen any news about 06 being involved in any of the temple's activities. No matter how big or small the religious events are. But if those inside don't tell us, only those outside, who are truly knowledgeable and taught by 01 through the Dhammakaya teachings, can reveal the truth. But now, many years have passed since 2017, and as the information suggests, MTwan recounted that on April 22, 2018, 01 was unable to issue orders as usual because Secretary Dao had colluded with 06 to undermine his authority. Normally, Secretary Dao would relay 01's orders to whoever he instructed. But after changing his mind and cooperating with 06, 01 simply refused to follow or relay 01's instructions. As he grew stronger, he began misinterpreting or altering 01's orders. Doing what 01 wanted, not what 01 desired, but what 06 wanted him to do. Of course, 01, possessing the Dhammakaya, insight, and spiritual vision, knows right from wrong. Therefore, anything 01 instructed would be meritorious, bringing happiness and prosperity. However, by having his authority usurped and his orders forged, he continued to impersonate him. This created an opportunity for others to manipulate 01's authority, finding ways to prevent such actions from happening. Since 01, being on the side of goodness, merit, and the divine, wouldn't allow something to be done, it had to be something bad. And when they went and twisted the message and gave orders themselves, it was natural that what they twisted was to make them do evil, bad, sinful things. And if 01 knew, he definitely wouldn't let them give the orders. So they didn't let 01 know, and he couldn't give the orders either. But they gave the orders among themselves. When the opportunity became clearer, they appointed a new committee, announcing it at the temple on December 26, 2018. There was a new committee with 02, 06, and others. And they started inviting people to join, using the transformed message to replace 01, who at the time the real 01 used the name Dao Songsan. But after the new committee came into power, the message that the real 01 couldn't give started to someone's name appearing repeatedly, starting from April 22, 2018. If anyone noticed, they would know that this was true. It seems that 01 couldn't give orders from that time on. Then, at the end of 2018, when the new committee came out, the name of 06, or Fra Maha Dr. Somchai, was included. It's equivalent to them seizing power from 01 completely, without 01 being able to give any orders while in the temple. What they did was raise funds to protect themselves. There was news on September 23, 2018, from Manager Online, saying that this group, led by Pechthong, had formed a group to hunt down moles, aiming to file charges against 7 monks accused of corruption. The news reported that the Anti-Money Laundering Office, AMLO, had found evidence of embezzlement of donations by these 7 monks. The information was detailed, including the monks' names, appearances, and positions. The news detailed the accusations and the charges against the 7 monks. It was a very detailed account. However, they were eventually silenced. It was revealed that someone saw one of the group members being escorted behind a building in a temple by security guards. After that, He disappeared for a month before returning to pursue the mole they had been hunting, which included Phra Maha Samchai, also known as 06. They then accused another monk, one who had access to the Dhammakaya sect, specifically 04 or Luang Nachana. Even today, we see Luang Nachana. He is the head monk who leads the weekly meditation sessions and major merit-making events. He is pure in his dharma, which is okay. Before that, there were reports that he oversaw public utilities and construction at the temple. There was a possibility that he could have embezzled the difference in bids for his own benefit. However, as far as I know, he did do that, but he donated the difference entirely to Luang Por, Venerable Father Dhammakaya. He did not hide it or keep any of it as personal property. You have to look at the intention. People judge whether something is cheating or not, merit or sin, based primarily on the intention. They don't look at the action itself and say, this action is merit, this action is sin. That's not the case. Merit and sin are judged by intention. Intention is the primary factor. Therefore, in the case of 04, the analysis showed that he acted with pure intentions. He conducted the bidding for contractors openly, and when he received any difference in bids, he accepted it to donate to Luang Por Dhammakaya. He did it openly and didn't hide anything. Meanwhile, Mr. A's group went to check and said there was a lot of evidence of embezzlement. They accused 04 of cheating more than 06. But it all ended because 04 didn't have that intention, so there was no sin, and 04 attained the Dhammakaya. Therefore, by accessing the Dhammakaya, any negative karmic consequences will be completely purified. This allows you to remain pure every day. No karmic consequence can harm you. If you maintain a pure and clear heart, you can consistently hold the position of head monk in terms of meditation every Sunday and accumulate great merit. No one else can do that for you. In that sense, when Mr. I's group changed their target to attack 04, it was ineffective. Ultimately, they had to give up and disband. However, within the temple, regarding 06 and what they did that became news on September 23, 2018, they pretended to have transferred or reassigned the monks involved. Mr. I's group then reported that their pressure to remove the worms from their positions in the temple was successful, and they ended their mission. But in reality, each person remained. After a while, they returned to their original positions and continued their policies, even though they had initially banded together to raise money. This is a precautionary measure. According to information from someone who knows the truth, they felt they couldn't tolerate it anymore. They saw the 7 monks, including Luang Phir Thadachivo, also known as 02, whose financial transactions were traced by the Anti-Money Laundering Office, AMLO, as embezzlement of temple donations. Inside sources say that 06 instructed these 7 monks to confess to the fraud, acting on the policy of Chairman 01. This meant they wanted to implicate 01, Luang Phir Dhammakaya, as the sole culprit, thus protecting themselves. They argued that if 01 possessed the power of the Dhammakaya meditation technique and could levitate, the authorities couldn't find him even after searching the temple for 3 days. This shows that unless Luang Phir surrendered, no one could arrest him. Therefore, by implicating Luang Phir alone, they and the temple would be safe. Even if Luang Phir's reputation is damaged, the faith of the devotees won't change easily. So, to put it simply, they let the abbot take all the blame alone. It became a matter of the 6 monks agreeing to it and going to give their testimony, individually. Each of them gave their own testimony, but they all said the same thing: that they followed the policy or orders of 01. This gave them the right to be witnesses and incriminate 01. But they had to find 100 million baht each for their bail. And how did they raise the money? They started a new project, using a similar phrasing as Abbot Dhammakaya. but under the name of someone else, at the end of 2018. It was a fundraising campaign to cover the dome of the Dhammakaya Chedi with gold leaf to make it shine brightly. But it was a case of killing two birds with one stone. Firstly, they got the money, and secondly, they used the methods of the dark side, namely black magic and sorcery, to defile the pagoda and prevent the attainment of nirvana. They made it impure. This act of defilement is a technique of that side. But today, it's cleaned up. The virtuous side is making efforts to clean it up, because Luangpur Dhammakaya loves his followers. Even though on February 2nd he saw that they, led by 06, had arranged with the authorities to raid the temple to arrest him and 01. Because they had 7 monks as witnesses and complete evidence that these 7 monks had embezzled donations. He foresaw this. But what he saw even more seriously was that after they raided the temple, if they didn't find him, they would chase everyone out, shut down the temple, and seize it permanently. He realized that if that happened, where would the more than 3,000 people living in his temple, his disciples, laymen, laywomen, and staff, go? They would have nowhere to live and nothing to eat. What would they do? So he decided it would be better for him to leave the temple himself, so that everyone could still have a place to live and nothing to eat. And, regarding the misunderstanding, there was still time to clarify things. Therefore, he wrote a short letter and provided guidelines for someone to deliver to 06. It was clear that since he had already left the temple, there was no need to bring people to storm it, wasting time and money. 06 believed this based on the information. They knew that 01 was no longer at the temple. Of course, the secretary, the mastermind, also knew that Luangpur Dhammakaya was no longer at the temple. It all went according to their plan. Since Luangpur had left, they didn't need to bring anyone to evict, seize, or close the temple. They could just seize it without Luangpur being there, using his name. However, at that time, there were limitations. They couldn't use Luangpur's name or call him by his name. Initially, we didn't know the reason. But later we learned that there were individuals involved, the purple higher-ups who disliked and didn't want to hear that name. There were also rumors that the purple higher-ups had previously requested something. Seeing how successful Luangpur Dhammakaya was in soliciting donations and building things worth billions of baht, they wanted a share, but Luangpur 01, or Luangpur Dhammakaya, refused, saying that the money donated by the devotees for merit-making was for the attainment of nirvana, and it shouldn't be given to anyone else to use. Those people would only be committing sins. Because of the venerable monk's compassion, he didn't give them a single baht. He said that if he gave, he would be wrong and sinful, but his own sin wouldn't be as great as causing others to sin. Because if he gave to one person, others would use that reason and ask for money. If he gave to one person, he would be able to give to others, and it would become a bigger sin, a wrongdoing. When you do something wrong, you can't do it. It's a sin. You can see how far the sin extends. And the sin associated with Wat Phra Dhammakaya, which is a temple of the suppressive faction, is very serious. It's not like the ordinary compassionate faction. When someone does something wrong, they follow the rules of the benevolent faction. But in the punitive faction, there are no rules. When there are no rules, the punishment is very severe. Therefore, the abbot saw this, so he wasn't decisive and didn't give absolute permission. But his refusal caused those who weren't given permission to become angry, resentful, and even to the point of not wanting to hear the name or see the face. There was even an order to remove all images of Luangpur Dhammakaya from the temple, from books, media, or any photographs. They were forbidden from seeing or using his name. That's why the name of someone kept coming up. Eventually, they didn't need to mention anyone's name anymore. But the people in the temple knew it was probably Luang Por because of the way it was phrased. But that's the thing, it's impossible, but people wanted to believe it themselves, thinking, maybe it's him, because their love and longing for Luang Por Dhammakaya blinded them, preventing them from using their intellect and reason. They didn't want to believe that the monks in Wat Phra Dhammakaya, from 02 downwards, who weren't Luang Por, could be on the opposite side of Luang Por Dhammakaya. They didn't believe others, but they believed 02. Someone who co-built the temple with 01 wouldn't betray him, right? But now, with the numerous news reports and the efforts of temple members to seek the truth on 2 or 3 issues since the end of last year, specifically December 14th, we saw the news from Tawan Dhamma station reporting that someone tried to ask Luang Por Tatachivo if Luang Por Dhammakaya was in the temple. Then, news broke that the prosecutor said they wouldn't indict Luang Por and that the case was closed for Luang Por Dhammakaya from October 2023 to April 2024. So why hasn't Luang Por come out yet? And news from Kru Judd's page said that Luang Por Tatachivo didn't close the case because when the person in charge asked, Luang Por Tatachivo himself said that Luang Por Dhammakaya probably wouldn't come out again. He even muttered that if he were to come out, they would chase him away from the temple. That they wouldn't let him stay at Wat Dhammakaya because he was involved in the stock market, etc. These were sentences that the person in charge heard Luang Por Tatachivo say himself. But it was said in his office, only those who heard it could hear it. When he told the page, Teacher Jude posted it on his page, saying that it was like that. That Luang Por Tatachivo's response meant that Luang Por Tatachivo wouldn't close the case for Luang Por Dhammakaya because he was afraid that if he helped Luang Por Dhammakaya get acquitted, he would be driven out of Wat Dhammakaya because of his alleged stock trading. And what does that mean? Does it mean that Luang Por Tatachivo really trades stocks? And is stock trading a monastic duty? But the fact that something like this happened, and Teacher Jude wrote about it on his page, led to many other things happening. Until Teacher Jude found out that the financial manager of the temple had appointed himself, whoever he was, and that person seemed afraid that the news would leak out and people would believe it. In the end, Teacher Jude was poisoned and died. The poisoning death is a hypothesis because there were witnesses and people who knew about it. Importantly, the Dhammakaya teachings of 01 allowed those with merit to have dreams, clearly showing who caused Teacher Jude's death. People may not want to believe it, but he said that the person he saw in his dream looked exactly like the secretary of 01, therefore, it's clear like this. However, in terms of our country's law, what's based on witness testimony is one thing. But what's based on evidence means it must be tangible and verifiable. So, even if it's known through the Dhammakaya teachings, through dreams, it's still not considered concrete evidence that can be relied upon or trusted. It becomes just a story, and only those who believe in the Dhammakaya teachings, who have access to the true inner Buddha and know it exists and is real, will believe that the Dhammakaya teachings are real and that the real 01, who said he left Wat Phra Dhammakaya on February 2nd, 2019, is real. Since Luang Por Dhammakaya is no longer at Wat Dhammakaya, he will not be involved in the management of the temple. This is because he is prohibited from giving orders, or his orders are not reaching anyone. In other words, his orders are being obstructed, meaning he cannot give orders whether he is present or not. Therefore, it's impossible for Luang Por Dhammakaya to have any new policies or initiatives. The real person who came out to invite the laypeople has been doing so since then. That's the only reason. Therefore, since February 2nd, 2019, when information from a true source said that 01 had left the temple, it means that from then until today, there have been no new projects. Any new projects come from the real 01. Any new initiative from the real Luangpur Dhammakaya is not from him. Therefore, many projects since 2023 onwards, including the biggest issue since 2021, which was the Zoom issue, where they cited someone's message supporting Zoom as being good in this way and that, were not from Luangpur Dhammakaya at all, and he didn't even know about it. Until 2023, when Kru Judd's page said that 02, or Fra Tatachivo, brought 06, or Fra Maha Dr. Samchai Thanawatho, to a temple committee meeting. Then, a lot of new projects were started, with 06 standing at the temple gate on January 18, 2023, announcing that he was going to propose a project to Luangpur Dhammakaya to get 100,000 people into the temple every month. That was told through Teacher Jude's page. And at that point, when we found out that Luangpur Dhammakaya hadn't been in the temple since February 2, 2019. But he stood there making those pronouncements in 2023, it meant he was lying. He was lying openly, and nobody in the temple knew. He knew he was lying because he knew very well that Luangpur Dhammakaya hadn't been in the temple since February 2, 2019. Therefore, the people who knew that Luangpur Dhammakaya wasn't in the temple were 06 and 01's secretary. Whether it changed to someone else later, I don't know. It's meaningless now because Luangpur Dhammakaya is no longer in the temple. The claims that Luangpur Dhammakaya ordered it, that it came from someone at 01, or that there were encouraging words or anything like that, it's all fake. Then, in 2022, news came from a reliable source saying that someone at 01 reported there was a fake Luangpur in the temple. Someone who looked exactly like him, you could even call them a twin. They invested in having someone get plastic surgery to make him look like him and then came to the temple, impersonating him. They were giving orders and talking to other monks as if they couldn't believe it. So, there was an imposter. This made the really big sponsors, like Mr. Anand, Mr. Bunchai, Mr. Pornsarn, or whoever, suspicious. We started to wonder why they were still coming to make donations. Mr. Anand wasn't there anymore, Mr. Bunchai was only seen bringing his son to ordain, and Mr. Pornsarn was a key figure in overseas missionary work and also attending temple events. This means these big sponsors wanted to be sure it was the real Luangpur. Therefore, if he's still here, it means he's been made to believe that the real Luangpur is actually in the temple, giving orders, and is still there. That's why he's still making donations. It means the imposter is doing a pretty good job of convincing the donors. There's a system of using intermediaries to protect the donors. Even Mr. Thawichai 5 probably has tight security, preventing any information from the real source from reaching him, such as the fact that the real Luangpur Dhammakaya is not in the temple. Luangpur once said in a kindergarten school, in front of kindergarten students worldwide, when talking to Mr. Thawichai, that if he was gone, he entrusted the temple to them. Mr. Thawichai clasped his hands together and bowed in acceptance. I, MTwan, saw this in the kindergarten school and can be a witness that Luangpur Dhammakaya had entrusted Mr. Thawichai 5 with the task of taking care of the temple if he was gone. What does take care of the temple mean? It means you have to ensure the temple remains a place where you accumulate merit. Not let it be seized by someone or used for bad purposes without your knowledge. And today, it's as if someone is impersonating him and residing in the temple. Then he started assigning tasks and inviting people to do new, huge charitable events, far bigger than before. Everyone should look at this with wisdom and understanding. The big things that Luangpur, Venerable Abbot, did in the past, like hosting 10,000 or 20,000 temples, even on his own birthday, April 22nd, he hosted 20,000 temples. He never hosted 30,000 temples. It's not that he couldn't do it, it's not that the merit of the lay people wasn't enough. Why wouldn't it be possible back then? Mr. Anand is incredibly wealthy, Mr. Bunchai is incredibly wealthy. And so are Mr. Pornsarn and other sponsors who grew up to be very wealthy. But why didn't Luangpur host 30,000 temples across Thailand? Back then, it was over 30,000. There must be a reason, right? Luangpur knows well through his spiritual insight and Dhammakaya that each temple has its own reasons for establishing it. There are many monks who want to establish a temple or monastery to live quietly and practice Dharma alone. They don't have the goal of spreading the Dharma or building anything. So they won't accept invitations to large events. This way, he wouldn't invite them. So, the fact that there are over 30,000 temples and he only invited 20,000 is because he saw what was appropriate through his spiritual insight. It's not that he couldn't support all 30,000 temples, or even 40,000 temples today. It's not that Luangpur Dhammakaya couldn't do it, but he saw what was appropriate and what wasn't, and what was beyond what should and shouldn't be done. But most importantly, during Luangpur Dhammachaya's time, there were factions that disagreed and tried to obstruct him, mainly the Islamic faction. And they relied on those in power in the country. As we've heard from various sources, the Purple Higher Authority itself has support from Islam, through some kind of agreement, which is unknown. And the Purple Higher Authority, or the Purple Higher Authority, is being falsely claimed by Phra Maha Samchai to be a representative for the Purple Higher Authority in negotiations with others. In 2021, we now know that Luangpur Dhammakaya has not been at the temple since February 2, 2019. Therefore, anything claimed to involve discussions with Luangpur Dhammakaya regarding any agreements is completely false. Another widely publicized story, shared by the New Faith group in a leadership meeting room, they call it the head's room, or the room where people are selected, revealed that Phra Maha Dr. Samchai Thanawat or 06, claimed to have acted as a representative of the Purple Higher Authority in negotiating with Luangpur Dhammakaya. The request was for Luangpur Dhammakaya to surrender the temple and its branches worldwide to the Purple Higher Authority as atonement for past karma. The request also included giving 70% of the donations received from Wat Dhammakaya and its branches to the Purple Higher Authority. It was claimed that Luangpur Dhammakaya accepted and agreed to this agreement. This was discussed in the leadership meeting room, or coach's room, as it's called, of the New Faith group in late 2021. We're sharing this information now because we know there's some basis for it. Even though it's been 2 or 3 years now, I've heard that the New Faith group has shut itself down. Apparently, their leader felt unsafe or something like that. They were probably referring to this issue. They were afraid that the purple-colored, high-ranking official, the source of which originated from this group, might get them into trouble if someone spoke about it. So they had to close down. But closing down doesn't mean that the issue didn't happen, because 06 himself spoke about it. And since he was the one who spoke it, he intentionally leaked the news. His intention at that time was to get the New Faith group leader to invite people from this temple who like to practice meditation under Luangpur Dhammakaya to form a new group, and to encourage them to meditate there instead of making donations to Dhammakaya. Then they told him not to make merit at the Dhammakaya branches anymore, but to find a new place to build his own temple. Some people who loved Luangpur Dhammakaya believed that and went along with it. They never returned to make merit at the temple again. They lacked the truth that Luangpur Dhammakaya is in the Dhammakaya state 24 hours a day, and has no outstanding karmic debts. Therefore, there's no way anyone can claim any old karmic debts from him. Furthermore, person #06 hasn't attained the Dhammakaya state or possessed the Dhammakaya teachings. But he falsely claimed to have received divine intervention that Luangpur Dhammakaya had outstanding karmic debts that needed to be repaid by handing over the temple and its branches to the purple higher authority and giving them 70% of the donations. It's a baseless excuse. Think about how #06 used that excuse with the purple higher authority. Someone who does this doesn't understand sin at all. But he has brought about a real influx of the purple-clad higher power. There are many changes in the temple's behavior and rituals, indicating the real involvement of this purple-clad higher power. Many projects have been continuously underway since 2023. Clearly, every 3 months there's a huge, massive project. But it's claimed to originate from messages mimicking those of Luangpur Dhammakaya, without mentioning a specific name. Initially, it was attributed to someone else, later with no name. However, they've taken past sermons, falsified them, and introduced new projects, starting with the 30,000 temple fundraising event, then the Kathan ceremony for another 30,000 temples. Then the massive Sangha offering for World Protection Day for 30,000 temples. And now this year they're going to do a Kathan ceremony, not a massive Sangha offering for Luangpur's 82nd birthday for 40,000 temples. All of this, if they can do it, go ahead. But the problem isn't whether it's feasible or not. The problem is whether the intention behind initiating these new projects is good or bad. When monks speak about policies, they believe they are from Luangpur Dhammakaya. In reality, they are doing the same things as when Luangpur Dhammakaya was still alive. The bidding, the gatherings, the seminars, the off-site presentations, the project discussions, they do it with pure intentions, believing they are doing it for Luangpur Dhammakaya. They are deluded into thinking, oh, it's being accepted now. Before, it was very difficult. But they lacked the wisdom to consider why it was difficult then and why it's so smooth now. If people weren't sharing the benefits, would they allow them to continuously undertake such large-scale projects? In 2016, we saw that Luangpur Dhammakaya planned to hold a mass alms-giving ceremony with 100,000 monks in Ubon Ratchathani, but people in uniform vandalized the signs and created obstacles, preventing him from doing it. So he had to hold the ceremony at the Dhammakaya Chetty instead on his birthday. This clearly shows that the higher powers, the purple faction, disapprove because they haven't received the emotional and financial gratification they desire, leading to constant conflict and the use of power and influence. But Luangpur Dhammakaya doesn't think about that. He only thinks about doing everything to create merit for his disciples because human life is short. And he must strive to reach the ultimate attainment of Dharma. So it led him to not get involved in any conflicts with anyone. He only knew that if he couldn't give it, he couldn't. Giving it away would be a great sin, so he couldn't. But after that, who gave it? Who took it? It was 06. Because, as the previous message stated, the new faith group clearly said that 06 himself said it, which means 06 created the story that he had negotiated with 01, which didn't actually happen. He deceived the temple committee into believing it was true, and then tricked the purple-clad higher-ups into believing that the negotiations were successful and that Luangpur Dhammakaya had agreed to hand over the temple and its branches, and also agreed to share 70% of the donations. Therefore, it became a matter of 06 alone telling everything that wasn't true. If the purple-clad higher-ups didn't know the truth and believed everything 06 said, the purple-clad higher-ups would unknowingly incur sin. And who would tell them that they were being deceived and falsely accused? And 06 dared to do this if he didn't have a very powerful Islamic backer or a lot of financial resources. And if it wasn't because that Islamic group was the same one supporting the purple-clad higher-ups. The purple-clad higher-ups probably wouldn't believe it. Wouldn't believe that 06 could actually do it. But since 06 said so much, and is also a Muslim, it seems like they're collaborating on an Islamic policy to seize control of Buddhism. Specifically Wat Phra Dhammakaya, Once they've eliminated and persecuted 01, or Luang Fur Dhammakaya, from all power, which they have already done, the only thing left is meditation, which they dare not risk. If there's no guided meditation, no voice of Luang Fur Dhammakaya as before, the donors and benefactors won't come to the temple anymore. Therefore, they need to keep the donors and benefactors believing in Luang Fur's presence. Once they believe in Luang Fur, any fundraising effort has to be made to convince them of his presence. Even resorting to impersonators to gain the believable support. Everything is for their own benefit. This is highlighting how every new project claims to be from Luang Fur Dhammakaya, who doesn't actually exist. They use deceptive tactics, writing new messages mimicking old ones to make devotees believe they are genuinely from him. But they didn't mention names for fear of legal repercussions, which is completely untrue. The case against Luang Por was closed in October 2023. But Luang Por Tatachivo didn't go to close it himself. By not closing the case, he left it pending to prevent Luang Por Dhammakaya from being released. He can't return no matter where he goes. He's not allowed to have the power to command anyone again, no matter how much his disciples love him. Then, when the MTwan page provided information about dreams and other things related to the Dhammakaya teachings of Luang Por Dhammakaya through genuine sources, it came in many forms, revealing those behind this are increasingly using the temple to benefit Islam and are preparing to take over the entire temple for Islamic purposes. They are exploiting money from new projects that deceive the temple staff, using them for large-scale operations. The temple staff believe everything is the same as when Luang Fur Dhammakaya was present, except that he is not visible. However, when he occasionally releases sermons or new messages, it creates the impression that it is genuine, and the practice continues. This is where the problem lies. The opposing side, or the Islamic faction, benefits from using Luang Fur Dhammakya's name for these activities. It becomes a situation where both people and money go to them. But the real suffering of Luang Fur Dhammakaya is his followers, who are forced to participate in new charitable projects that don't originate from him. These are new policies and initiatives. But Luang Fur is not actually involved. They are lies. The idea comes from individuals who are not actually Luang Fur Dhammakaya, deceiving people into believing it's for him. Lying is a sin, especially when the initial intention is to lie. The intention is to entice people to participate because 70% of the assets must be divided according to Agreement 06. They claim that Luang Por, abbot, agreed to give 70% to the higher powers, in purple. Therefore, it's a deliberate creation of a new project to dividing the donations by 70% through lies, turning it into a sinful act. Even though the activities are all meritorious, Sangha Dana, offering to monks, Fa Pa, forest offering, Kathan, Buddhist robe offering, all are meritorious acts. The intention is to give 70% to the higher powers. What will the higher powers do with that 70%? For example, if they receive 70%, 700 million baht, out of a billion. What do you think they will do with it? If they use it for meritorious work, then they gain merit. But the reason for this new project is a sinful intention. A sinful intention from lying to embezzle donations without consent. If they had spoken directly, announcing to the devotees that 70% of the donation assets would be given to the higher powers, in purple, and that Luang Por Dhammakaya had agreed, and if people believed and accepted, wouldn't that be the end of it? That's where it ends. If they do it this way, transparency is not a sin. When it's not a sin, it can be considered a meritorious project. But it turns out they didn't tell the truth. They lied from the start, wanting to take the money without the donors knowing. that becomes a sin. Even though legally it says that donations cannot be taken back, in terms of karma, it has significant consequences. It's like you deceived them from the beginning. It's not that you ask them to do merit, like the usual Kathina ceremony, and then you secretly took the money from behind the house. That's meritorious work, but stealing money from behind the house is sinful. Here, the intention from the start was to take 70% of the money. The act of lying violates the fourth and second precepts of Buddhism. It's a sin from the beginning. When this sinful project starts, it's what's called a blueprint for the dark side. What was once a meritorious act, a white side, is transformed into a black side, completely mimicking the white side. Those who enter the black side don't know it's black, but in a deeper sense they do. Even if your heart doesn't know, if you enter the black side, you will be released. The merit you possess is completely discarded. You have thrown away all your merit. Only then can you acquire the dark side of karma, because when you work in the dark realm, the merit you accumulate is replaced by dark sin, and this dark sin replaces white. They don't cancel each other out, they substitute. You discard white and embrace black. Every time you undertake a new project that is sinful, it will always be dark. Those who participate will discard all their merit, whether much or little, and embrace the dark side entirely. This is what deeply saddened Luang Por Dhammakaya and led him to seek ways to inform his disciples that he has not been present at the temple since 2019. And most recently, he also stated that he is no longer Phra Dhammakaya since 2020, after the completion of the Dhamma Yatra project. That is, after January 31, 2020, he disrobed. After disrobing, he became a monk because his Dhammakaya remains steadfast and unwavering, a supreme being. A supreme being is someone who sees the Dhammakaya as the Dhammakaya 24 hours a day, even when their physical body is no longer wearing the monk's robes. Although he is a layman, he still possesses the qualities of a monk, the knowledge of the Dhammakaya meditation technique, and expertise in it. The essence of being a monk remains within him. Those who understand this will continue to respect and revere him. However, he doesn't mind if those who don't understand choose not to revere him. He doesn't demand it. He wants them to understand correctly that he is no longer Phra Dhammakaya. Therefore, since February 2020, there is no longer a person named Phra Dhammakaya. There is no longer a true Luang Por Dhammakaya. So, any acts of worship should be done in remembrance of his aspirations. This can be done at Wat Dhammakaya. If his disciples or other monks wish to follow the policies and guidelines that Luang Por Dhammakaya once laid out, they can do so with that intention, and it will be meritorious. Therefore, many projects initiated by Luang Por, when continued, still generate merit. For example, the Dhamma pilgrimage that we see still generates merit, even though there may be interference in the process involving money, property, and other assets. There was a change of hands, a change in operations, embezzlement, who benefited from it. Where it went, how it was divided, it's a matter of sin committed later, but the initial intention was still virtuous from the beginning. Therefore, the merit in this aspect still exists. Therefore, the merit of offering rice to the Buddha every month still exists. However, any merit gained from activities conducted in Glass Room 2 is not considered merit. This is because Glass Room 2 contains a main Buddha statue with black hair, which the temple people have been deceived into believing is the latest type of Buddha statue commissioned by Luang Por Dhammakaya. Luang Por did not commission this, and even if he did, he would never create such a statue. That type of statue aligns with the subtle aspects of the dark side of Dhammakaya, which people don't understand because Dhammakaya has three aspects: white, gray, and black. Therefore, in the subtle realm, if someone's practice hasn't reached the Buddha within themselves, hasn't become a Dhammakaya practitioner 100%, 24/7, they won't see the three aspects of the Buddha. It's hard to believe, but it exists. Because only some people know this, it's difficult to convince them. But the truth is, it exists. So, those who believe in the Dhammakaya teachings and the practice of Dhamma will believe in this knowledge. But why believe? To enable themselves to survive in accumulating merit. When Luang Por's disciples are merit makers, they must be aware of these subtle aspects and quickly practice to reach that subtle realm. Only when you truly see the subtle realm will you. It's hard to believe that what you're seeing is either merit or sin. But in summary, the point is that when people tried to ask Luang Por Tatachivo for the truth on three issues, 1. Is Luang Por Dhammachayo present at the temple? 2. The prosecutor dropped the charges against Luang Por Dhammachayo. Is Luang Por Tatachivo truly not closing the case for him? 3. Is it true that a high-ranking figure, a Kumari, owns the temple and has been receiving 70% of the bribes since 2021? These three issues demand answers to ensure everything is correct. However, Luang Por Tatachivo chose to ignore them. He would turn around when called, but wouldn't respond, showing no interest or concern, as if it were a staged event. A way to prevent him from ignoring the questions. The group of people who were once his disciples, the ones building merit at the temple, felt obligated to protect their former followers. When asked for answers, he refused, ignoring the crucial issues that directly impact merit and sin. Then, even on the third occasion, January 1, 2026, there was an attempt to ask the question, and a letter requesting permission was sent. They even asked to invite Luang Por Tata at 11 a.m. to help answer the question, but he refused. Instead, they had people restrain him, preventing him from speaking even a single word. Restraining him from speaking didn't just mean he wouldn't answer, but he also prevented others from knowing what you were going to ask. Because if you asked, and others knew, they would immediately know the truth. That's the truth. An intelligent person would understand that if he doesn't answer, he simply won't answer. But preventing others from knowing means he absolutely doesn't want anyone to know, and he's trying to silence them by any means. Then, on February 1st, a group still wanted to ask the question. But the temple had security guards and was monitoring them. It's believed they were trying to cut off the Bluetooth signal so they couldn't use the microphone to speak. In short, the temple didn't want anyone to hear about this. No one inside the temple was allowed to speak about it. If they wanted to talk about it, they should do so outside the temple, but not within it. It's as if they're afraid the people inside will become too wise, and if they become wiser, they won't be deceived anymore. So, this is very clear now. Then, the MTwan page said, the truth that you haven't proven yet, but you choose not to believe it. Those who believe are lucky. Those who don't believe will face their own karma. Because if you don't believe, no one will tell you anything anymore. You will lose your merit and you will die prematurely. And there's an even more evil plan within the temple. There's even a dream that says that within the temple, when they are controlled by Islam and they don't believe in merit and sin, killing people who disagree with them is easy for them, without considering it a sin. Therefore, the lives of the temple people and all the saints who love Buddhism and Luang Por Dhammachayo, if one day you become defiant, disobedient, or start to gain wisdom and disagree with them with reason, you might be the ones eliminated. They could eliminate you completely, and no one will know how you died. Even though you have so much merit, it's something that requires careful consideration. So, finally, on February 1st, the group that intended to ask questions encountered technical difficulties and saw such tight security that they didn't feel any hope, didn't dare hope to tell anyone anything, or even reach Luang Por Tatachivo to ask questions. They couldn't get there because you are in the main assembly and there is a distance between you and them. Those who want to ask questions will probably be discouraged because when appropriateness is gone, morality is gone, and the righteousness based on reason and good people is gone. There are only mafia-style methods, methods of influential people, methods of using influence and force, relying on connections. There is no discussion among intelligent people, no discussion among scholars and sages, and it's like it's not a stage where good people can fight. In the end, no one can ask anything to O2 anymore. We don't know if there are other groups. And even though the law doesn't allow or guarantee that laypeople can request the return of administrative power from monks, the laypeople's resolution can request the establishment of a committee of laypeople to participate in inspecting and overseeing the administration of the temple. But most recently, in the dreams of many virtuous people, which have been shared by true experts and those close to the sun over the past several months, it has become clear that there is no hope. There is no hope for the Dhammakaya followers to escape their delusion. And most recently, they went to a seminar preparing for World Protection Day to make offerings to 40,000 temples. It has become a matter of claiming that Luang Por Dhammakaya intended to feed the monks. Or is the claim that offering alms to 40,000 temples was a lie? When lies are involved from the start, the project becomes sinful. Even if the initiative originated from Luang Por Dhammakaya, he initially planned for only 20,000 temples. Then it became 30,000. And then 40,000 temples after 2019. If there was no mention of Luang Por, but the temple administration decided to follow his policies and increased the number of temples for various reasons, it might still be believable and considered meritorious. However, when the team at the seminar said that they read Luang Por's sermons with a straight face, using new language and mentioning 40,000 temples, it clearly shows an intention to lie. The monks speaking may not even realize they are lying because they already believed it came from Luang Por and that he was actually in the temple. But the truth is, Luang Por Dhammakaya is no longer in the temple. Phra Dhammakaya has also been gone since 2020, having disrobed. If anyone wants to know what he's like or where he is, if you believe what we've told you and you believe that Luang Por Dhammakaya is not really in the temple, then you won't be deceived or misled. If you sincerely meditate to his voice and pray to see him, he may grant you a chance to meet him in a dream. Because of his Dhammakaya teachings, if you think of him and believe what MTwan has told you, you can pray after meditating to his voice. If you are not in delusion, your prayer will reach him. And if you are in a ready state, he will allow you to dream of him, to meet him. He will give you confidence. And what he wants us to tell everyone from now on is to focus on accumulating merit, the merit that truly belongs to him. The merit you should frequently review is the merit that truly belongs to him, going back before 2018. You can review all the merit you have accumulated. And the new merit you can review are the merit from the Dhammakaya ascetic journey, the merit from offering rice to the Buddha, the merit from feeding monks, and the merit from the ordination projects of Wat Phra Dhammakaya during his time there. If you're unsure about anything, don't get involved. Don't participate in it. As for the Kathan ceremony, if there's any manipulation or insertion of new teachings or ideas, it becomes a forgery of a great merit, turning it into a sin. Don't get involved, don't participate. And any project that you're unsure about once it's changed hands, don't participate. Review the old things, reflect on the great merit you accumulated while the Buddha was still alive. Remember him truly, and meditate every day to attain the Dhammakaya. This is what will keep you safe in life until the end. Don't commit new sins, but if you ever feel tempted to do something wrong, or are unsure, then on the first Sunday of the month, participate in the offering of rice to the Buddha. If later, on the day of the offering of rice to the Buddha, someone comes to the Dhammakaya temple and takes the Dhammakaya away, claiming it's because of strong winds as mentioned in a dream, then it means that after that, everyone must review the offering of rice to the Buddha at the beginning of the month themselves. You can use the playlist on the MTwan YouTube channel, which contains videos of the offering of rice to the Buddha. Keep this in mind for use 12 times a year. Review it every month as if it's still there. Thinking about the time when Luang Por Dhammajayo was still alive. When you do good deeds again, recall the good deeds you did in the past, as if you were reliving those times. It's like doing good deeds anew, and you'll receive the same merit as you did back then. Reviewing your good deeds is like that, and it has a powerful effect. This is a guideline for anyone who wonders where they will do good deeds after Luang Por is gone. Review your good deeds, recalling where you were, how you participated in those merit-making activities, everything. Do it like replaying a video, going back in time, and doing it again. If you can do that, you will receive new merit. That happens immediately. It's very powerful and truly effective. You must do this every time, reviewing your good deeds and then meditating to reach the Buddha within yourself. We also have playlists that guide meditation, with many options for everyone to practice and reach the Buddha within themselves. Then everyone will return to meet him in the Dusit heaven. For those who have gone astray, if one day their karma is exhausted and they turn back, use this method. Review your old good deeds from the time Luang Por was still alive. Review the good deeds you did and felt great joy from. That's what will help. But don't review newly created good deeds. I urge you to start anew after 2018, because it's no longer yours. It's a deception. If you reflect on it, the merit that is a deception is like reflecting on sin, and you will also incur sin. Don't do that. It's unfortunate. If past karma comes back, it can cut short lives. Many people in the community have died. As I mentioned earlier, there's evil in the hearts of those behind this, to the point of profiting from the bodies of people who are members of the temple, Buddhists, the disciples of the abbot. They see them as fish swimming in the water, big or small. When they want to eat fish, they just scoop them up, have them killed, and send them to a crematorium they've invested in. This cremation is done in a way that allows the relatives to pay for the funeral, and no one can tell if the death was from disease or poison. Because the crematorium is so advanced that it's odorless and colorless. They've planned this to this extent. If one day they can't make money from the community, they will make money by selling the lives of the community members at funerals. I'm not making accusations. This comes from a dream. If you think the dream is nonsense, you don't have to pay attention to it. But if you see that the Dhammakaya teachings are not a game, then you should understand the Dhammakaya teachings. Believe me, you should already know whether or not to involve yourself in any particular situation, and whether it's good or bad. It's up to you to decide. From now on, there will probably be no opportunity to tell anything because the last signal from 01 on the 9th was that he said 02 no longer has any feelings for him. 02 has forgotten everything about Luang Por Dhammajayo. Because he has gone through death many times, resurrection, and being destroyed by sorcery, it has erased his memories. Therefore, he has no memory of Luang Por Dhammajayo anymore, except for what people have written for him to read. Everyone can notice this. Whether or not people will be suspicious depends on their karma. Luang Por Dhammajayo expected someone to be brave enough to demand justice for him, since his cases were closed, meaning there were no more lawsuits against him. But 02 didn't cover it up. And he didn't allow 01 or Fra Dhammajayo to be involved with the sect anymore. It means 02 has become a puppet for the sinful side or the opposing side, controlling everything and strangling everyone. He can't tell the truth, he can't tell anyone, and he's forbidden from speaking to anyone. That's because they want to use Wat Phra Dhammakaya and its people to raise money for themselves through big projects. If the people of the temple don't help them, they can't raise money. If the temple people lose faith or no longer believe that the abbot is in the temple, they won't donate money anymore. It's like they have no income. Even if they sell the temple, no one will buy it. At that time, they'll have to sell events organized by the temple and hire people from the temple to run them. These people will become freeloaders, living comfortably in houses. Not having to work at all, just living happily as Muslims residing within Wat Phra Dhammakaya. But the Buddhist people from the temple will no longer be able to enter, worship the stupa, worship the abbot, worship the grandmother, or even go to the church. The temple will change hands. The temple people won't be able to enter because once they've committed their wicked deeds to the extreme, and no one exposes them, they will continue to profit secretly for eternity. The temple will become like Wat Phra Dhammakaya, a Buddhist temple that operates worldwide but caters to and supports the Muslim population. But when they can no longer deceive them, they will seize the temple, close it down, and subdivide the land to build houses for rent, letting the Muslims live there instead. The Muslims will have houses near the stupa, the abbot's shrine, the grandmother's shrine, the Dhammakaya stupa, and so on. All the vacant land will be turned into housing. Then, they'll let Muslims rent and buy the land cheaply. And people from the temple won't be allowed in anymore. The temple sign will just be removed, and there will be shops selling children's clothes. Especially clothes designed to encourage Muslims to have multiple wives so they can have a large Muslim population and take over the country. Our temple will become a place where Muslims live and have children, filling the place. Just imagine how many. The shops will become shops selling children's clothes and toys. They've prepared it to that extent. This has appeared in the dreams of many people in the group I know, and they told me about their dreams. Then I asked real experts. And it became clear that the dream came from Phra Dhammakaya himself, wanting to show what will happen next. If there's no change, it will be exactly as in the dream. It's already been seen. But actually, since he's already seen it, it means he can still fix it. If everyone sees it and starts to question it, questioning or awakening means breaking free from the opposing side's manipulation. Once they're free from delusion, the side of merit can come in, and it will immediately become a source of merit. That's what can help solve the problem. But if people don't see it, or if it's told to them, they won't know or listen, then it will probably be like that. So, according to the latest signal, the song, Father, Don't Cry, means that the voice leading the meditation of 01, or Phra Dhammakaya, has become a voice used by people at the temple to deceive the donors and benefactors who still come to the temple, making them believe that Luang Por, Venerable Father, is still there and that they are still making donations to him. It's like the bottle seller who calls out to sell bottles. Even though the person who made that call is gone, the voice still remains. It's the same principle. Luang Por Dhammakaya is no longer at the temple, he's not teaching or leading meditation anymore. But the temple uses that audio tape to sell bottles and meditation, but there's no real person there. They don't want to meet him in person, and everyone is content with that memory and familiarity, deceiving themselves without wanting to let go of the truth that Luang Por is no longer there. They want to deceive themselves into thinking that Luang Por is only in their hearts, which is true. If everyone knew the truth that Luang Por is no longer at the temple, they would still have him in their hearts, and they would be able to think of him. And if they want to meet him someday in the future, if they attain the Dhammakaya, they will be able to meet him in person. This is what many people don't know. We can only inform you that this is the final moment that Luang Por Dhammakaya, who is no longer Phra Dhammakaya, hopes we share this knowledge with his disciples as a case study. He doesn't want the temple to deceive the community any longer. If his disciples are vigilant and refuse to be deceived any longer, even if we can't reclaim administrative power, at least they won't be tricked into eternal damnation, as we mentioned earlier. In the beneficial realm, if someone commits wrongdoings, the procedures for receiving punishment in hell are specific. But in the punishing realm, there are no rules. Therefore, if anyone makes a mistake, they will be seized and sent to the dark realm, never to be reborn again. This means being in darkness for eternity, a slave to Mara. Isn't that too much misfortune? Luang Por's disciples shouldn't be that unlucky. He hopes that even if you don't believe everything, you will have the awareness to see that it wasn't him from the beginning. When you realize this, when you escape from delusion, that is when you will be saved. Don't wait for karmic retribution to strike because your merit has run out. There will be no chance to rectify it then. Don't let the guided meditation voice deceive you to the point where you refuse to accept the truth that the real Luang Por Dhammakaya is no longer at the temple and is no longer Fra Dhammakaya. Just know this much. You will meet him if you want to. But if you refuse to believe this, if you want to deceive yourself along with the guided meditation voice at the temple, if you want to continue believing in the temple, if the temple continues to deceive you, you will never encounter the evil truth that Islam has seized the temple land and made it their own home. You might not see that image, but you will see that 02's is still the administrator, managing the temple and orchestrating various large projects until someone dies. It will become like that. The temple people will be deceived until they die, generation after generation, but they will have no merit left. And no merit will reach Luang Por Dhammakaya either. For those who refuse to let go of their delusion, this is the truth, everyone. You might ask, what am I sitting here talking about? We speak because it's our duty to convey what you wish. But we don't receive this merit from you. You didn't order us to, we volunteered from the beginning. Therefore, when you gave the signal, we performed our duty to provide information through truly knowledgeable sources. We received the information and then shared it. We rely on your compassion to share this with everyone, as well as our own. We are survivors, but a small number of survivors. We want as many as possible to survive with us. It's our merit if we can make everyone believe in us so we can all survive together. Some people try to say that we are an unreliable channel because we're banned from entering the temple, because we harbor resentment, or whatever. That's the thinking of narrow-minded people. I myself haven't been to the temple since August 26, 2018. I didn't want to go because I saw that we hadn't done anything wrong. We're simply sharing information from truly knowledgeable sources about Luang Por Dhammakaya, as you wished. We have our own ways of verifying our credibility. When we believe it's true, we have to fulfill our duty to inform everyone. It's like finding a good product, we have to share it. When we find good teachings from Luang Por, we try to tell our good friends, it's our nature. When we find that something is true, but not as beautiful as it once was, we have to tell others. That's why we've always performed our duty. We've seen that when we reported the truth, the temple even banned us from entering. This means they knew what we knew was true and they didn't want anyone else to know. They simply cut off our access, preventing us from entering the temple so we couldn't share the information. So what? We have to keep telling people outside the temple like this. But outside, some people will hear, some won't. They have to find ways to prevent people from listening to us. It's up to them. But mostly, they probably believe them more than us. That's why it's dragged on for so long, 7 to 8 years. That's too long. Then, we had hope after receiving information 3 months ago. We gathered people who believe in this and have a certain level of merit to dare to ask the temple staff to raise awareness. But they completely blocked us. It's strange that most people lack the intelligence to see that this is abnormal. It's called being obscured, but is it due to a lack of intelligence, or is it due to black magic, spells, or sorcery? It's truly a matter of individual karma. We've tried our best to tell the truth. We hope that after this, everyone will be fortunate enough to escape that delusion. But please know that Luang Por Tatachivo, or O2, is no longer the same person. Because in his heart, he no longer truly knows Luang Por Dhammakaya. He remembers everything that began. If no one tells him, he won't even remember that the project to help 323 temples in southern Thailand was initiated by Luang Por Dhammakaya. Or the Dhamma Yatra project was initiated by Luang Por Dhammakaya. Even the invitation to have people cast gold statues of Luang Pu and Kunya, how many statues were there? He doesn't remember that Luang Por Dhammakaya initiated it. He doesn't remember what Luang Por Dhammakaya did. He only remembers that he taught meditation through guided meditation audio. Because someone wrote it to him every time. And the person who wrote it said that the temple was built by Kunya. Meaning that the person who wrote the script didn't meet Luang Por Dhammakaya and just assumed that the temple was built by Kunya. But that's not true. Or perhaps that person wrote it under orders from above, who didn't want Luang Por Dhammakya's name mentioned. They distorted the history of the temple's construction to attribute it to Kunya Chan so that Luang Por Dhammakaya wouldn't be mentioned at all. Everything was already controlled before. The higher-ups wouldn't interfere with the temple's affairs as long as Luang Por Dhammakaya was present, because he refused to share the money. But after that, whenever you see the higher-ups getting involved, know that it's because the temple has already shared the spoils with them. The major projects that proceed smoothly are because those who obstructed them have already received their share of the benefits. It's as simple as that. If people can't understand this, they shouldn't be followers of Luang Por. He teaches his followers to have wisdom, to think wisely, to think well, speak well, and act well. But those followers who only think about taking don't even know whether their thoughts are good or bad. They only know they want to take, they don't want to hear the truth. They claim it makes their hearts impure, that they want merit, and the merit they desire is wealth. But if their hearts are pure, they will receive merit. How much wealth will their investment yield? That's not merit, it's desire, it's greed, it's an investment. As long as their intentions are like this, they will never get the return they desire. And then, especially during a time when those on the sinful side have seized power, you get deceived because you deceive yourself first. This is where the seeds of deception lie. We can only summarize it for you. Therefore, since February 1st, there have been people who received leaflets and came to Wat Phra Dhammakaya hoping to participate in a public referendum to return power from the monastic order to the lay committee. But because no one dared to ask, it wasn't that they dared, they were afraid because they were heavily controlled. They couldn't move at all. And it wasn't just that they couldn't move. They didn't want it to become news. If you have a small number of people, they are ready to trap you. It's a tactic or method of thugs. And the people at the temple will just think, what happened? But you don't question why it shouldn't have happened, or why it happened. If it had happened before, it means they must have made a great effort to prevent the information from being suppressed. They tried very hard not to let it be completely controlled so that the people at the temple could awaken, see, and hear, and unite to request a referendum. But when you check with AI, it may not be 100% accurate. They say that in terms of the law and regulations governing the Thai Sangha, a referendum by lay people to reclaim administrative power from the Sangha, Buddhist monastic order, has no legal effect for the following reasons. 1. The power structure is vertical. Temples are not democracies where supreme power rests with lay donors. Instead, they operate under a centralized monastic administrative system with power concentrated in the hands of the abbot. As stipulated in the Sangha Act of 1962, the abbot has absolute authority over the temple and its assets. 2. Temples are religious property. Once money is donated to a temple, it immediately becomes the property of the temple as a legal entity. Lay people do not have the status of shareholders who can vote to remove the administrators, monks, at will. 3. There is no legal basis. While a referendum among disciples might have a psychological or social pressure effect, there is no law that would allow the result to change the appointment of the abbot or the Sangha. If lay people truly want to change the administrators, what should they do? Even though a vote to seize power cannot be achieved, lay people can unite to petition in the following ways. Submit a petition to the governing abbot. Gather a list of names and a vote of no confidence to the provincial or regional abbot to demonstrate that the abbot lacks the community's trust, which may lead senior monks to consider replacing the temple's administrator. National Office of Buddhism, use the Foundation channel. If the administrative power is in the name of the Dhammakaya Foundation, members or stakeholders can petition the court or the registrar of foundations to investigate the behavior of the directors and ask the court to order the directors to be removed from their positions if mismanagement is found. According to the Civil and Commercial Code. Summary: a referendum is merely an expression of social will and cannot directly change administrative power according to the law, but it can be used as evidence to support complaints to the relevant authorities. In practice and legally, lay people cannot use a referendum to directly coerce the monks into giving them administrative and financial power, even if the lay people are the sole donors. The main reason stems from the legal structure designed to give monks the ultimate power in temples as follows. 1. Absolute power according to the Sangha Act. According to the Sangha Act of 1962, Sections 37 and 38 stipulate that the abbot has the sole responsibility for governing the temple and managing its assets. Therefore, votes from laypeople have no legal standing to override this authority. 2. The management of temple funds must always involve monks. The regulations of the National Office of Buddhism regarding the receipt and disbursement of temple funds state that, when opening a temple bank account, the abbot must be one of the authorized signatories, along with the temple treasurer or committee members. Laypeople alone cannot manage temple funds without the abbot, as this would violate monastic governance regulations and banks would not accept withdrawals. However, there are solutions that laypeople can take without seizing power. If laypeople do not trust the monastic community's financial management, they can take the following legally recognized steps: establishing a temple committee to oversee the temple. Laypeople can collectively propose to the abbot the appointment of a new, acceptable temple committee to audit and report financial statements to the laypeople periodically. This is joint management, not a seizure of funds. Filing complaints of corruption in office if it is found that monks are misusing temple funds. Laypeople can gather a resolution and evidence and submit it to the governing ecclesiastical authority, district, provincial ecclesiastical authority, or the Office of National Buddhism to order an investigation into the finances, which may lead to the replacement of the temple treasurer or fund manager. Auditing through the foundation. In the case of Wat Phra Dhammakaya, most of the money is held at the Dhammakaya Foundation, which is managed by a committee that includes laypeople. If there is a lack of transparency, a resolution from the Foundation's members can be submitted to the Registrar, Ministry of Interior, to investigate or order a change of committee members. In summary, the referendum has an impact in terms of social pressure and undermining the legitimacy of the previous administration are possible, but legally, financial power cannot be seized by a single group of laypeople because Thai law stipulates that temples must be managed by senior monks. If you want to check the financial transparency of a temple, the guidelines for 2026 have clear procedures in both monastic and civil law as follows. 1. Guidelines for requesting an audit of the temple's financial statements within the temple. Before filing an external complaint, you should exercise your rights as a stakeholder, donor, and proceed internally first. Requesting rights according to the regulations of the Supreme Sangha Council. According to the regulations on temple accounting, temples are required to keep accounts and report them to the governing abbot. Laypeople can write to the abbot, as a legal entity, to request a summary of the annual income and expenses. Verification through the temple treasurer. Meet with the temple treasurer to inquire about suspicious procurement or expenditure in the project. If denied, use this denial as evidence for the next stage of the complaint. 2. How to file a complaint letter to the National Office of Buddhism, NOB. If requesting information internally is unsuccessful or clear irregularities are found, write a letter to the Director of the Provincial Office of Buddhism, POB, or the Director of the Central NOB Office with the following components. Letter structure. 1. Subject. Request for an investigation into the transparency of the management of temple assets. Specify the name of the temple. 2. Complainant. Specify name, surname, address, and telephone number. If it is a group of devotees, attach a list of names at the end of the complaint. 3. Facts. Specify events that cause distrust, such as 1. Discovery of disbursement of funds that do not match the purpose of the donation. 2. No explanation of income and expenditure accounts has been provided to devotees for a long time. 3. Behavior suggestive of corruption by the temple treasurer or administrator. 4. Request. Request the NOB to coordinate with the ecclesiastical governing body to inspect the temple's bank accounts and income and expenditure accounts. 5. Supporting evidence. Photographs. Donation transfer slips. Public relations documents for projects that were not actually implemented, or letters requesting inspections that the temple has previously refused. 3 examples of draft letters, rough. Those who are truly interested in this matter can find examples in the album related to this topic on the MTwan Suk Sudhamma Facebook page. There is an album of sample letters. Caution: complaints should have sufficient evidence or observations to prevent being sued for defamation or filing a false report. Current information, February 2026, indicates that the abbot of Wat Phra Dhammakaya is Phra Kru Palit Ratanavirawat, Rongsaraditha Chintako, who was recently appointed as an advisor to the provincial chief monk of Pathum, Thani on February 8, 2026. Nauna Facebook, regarding the position of temple administrator, Vayavachakan of Wat Phra Dhammakaya. Large temples usually have several Vayavachakans to divide the duties of various tasks. However, the list of current Vayavachakans is not officially disclosed to the public in the form of a directory through general online media like the position of the abbot. Additional observations. In the past, well-known individuals who served as temple administrators or board members, such as Mr. Supachai Srisufakorn, who has since left his position and is involved in past legal cases, have been prominent figures in the media. Most of the temple's assets are managed through the Dhammakaya Foundation, which is overseen by its board of directors. If you wish to know the list of legally appointed temple administrators for verification purposes, you can inquire directly with the Dhammakaya Temple Office or send a written inquiry to the Pathum Thani Provincial Office of Buddhism, which holds a copy of the appointment order for temple administrators according to the regulations of the Supreme Sangha Council. Searching for the list of the Dhammakaya Foundation's Board of Directors can be done through official government channels. As the foundation is a legal entity registered with the Department of Provincial Administration, Ministry of Interior, as follows: 1. Online search. Initial. You can check the status and initial registration list on the Department of Business Development's DBD Corporate Information Search System by typing Dhammakaya Foundation. Although the foundation does not submit financial statements like a company, sometimes registration information or related legal entities will appear. 2. Requesting copies of documents at the Klong Luang District Administrative Office. Since Wat Phra Dhammakaya is located in Klong Luang District, Pathum Thani Province, legally the Registrar of Foundations is the District Chief of Klong Luang as the local registrar. How to? You can go to the Klong Luang District Administrative Office to request a copy of the Foundation Regulations or the List of Foundation Board of Directors (MN4). Right of access. As a citizen or stakeholder, you can request to inspect these documents. 1. The Government Information Act BE 2540, 1997, is used to verify who currently has the authority to sign binding agreements for the foundation. 3. Check through the Security Information System, Department of Provincial Administration. The Department of Provincial Administration has a database of foundations nationwide. You can contact or request information from the Investigation and Legal Affairs Division of the Department of Provincial Administration, Wang Chaya, which directly oversees the registration of foundations and associations. Website, Department of Provincial Administration. 4. Check the annual report, if available. Here, this information is obtained from an AI on Google's computer. They don't confirm whether it's accurate or not, but it can be a guideline. However, we see that there is a law that clearly states that the abbot has absolute authority over matters concerning the temple. If there is anything, it must be discussed with the abbot. This abbot is the current abbot. But regarding issue 01, or Luang Por Dhammacheo giving the Dhammakaya teachings through the Dhammakaya method to a true expert, it's a matter of behavior with a hidden agenda and higher powers involved. If it's a matter of legal action, but the person using any authority is someone from a higher position, it might seem almost impossible. Who would dare to demand and follow up on these issues if not a large number of devout followers who could create psychological pressure to allow lay committee members to be involved in the consideration and management of the temple? However, a referendum is still necessary, and there must be people with a steadfast heart who are determined to seek justice regarding the case of Luang Phra Dhammacheo, which should have been closed but hasn't. Anyone with such a firm resolve to do this for the former Luang Phra Dhammacheo will receive immense merit. But it's unknown if anyone loves Luang Phra Dhammacheo that much. Since this is the most obvious issue, and concerning the power of those in high positions, as I said, there are both those who support it and those who are deceived. Even those in the purple ranks were deceived by the 06 scheme. If it's a matter of deception, and people are deceiving each other, there might not be anything real. If you take it seriously legally, you might not be able to arrest anyone. Or even if you try to follow the proper procedures, if they have that much influence and can turn black into white, it might be impossible to get cooperation from any level of the provincial, district, or sub-district ecclesiastical authorities, even with a large number of signatures. If all of them have been bought off, whether through personal gain or shared benefits, referencing the benefits of Buddhism, whether it's right or wrong, or whether it's a matter of merit or sin. Unless you look at the subtle details, no one can see through it completely. That's why, when the person who should be guiding people in matters of merit and sin, like Luang Por Dhammacheo, is no longer here, or can no longer exert influence to give genuine orders, it's almost impossible to see how all the people who are being deceived now will be able to believe them. If you believe in or demand justice as is proper, as intelligent people should, you must have the fairness to stand firm and see it through to the end. If you see it this way, and consider it a meritorious act to do what is right for the former Luangpur Dhammakaya, since he has committed no legal offenses, no wrongdoing from the beginning, and the case has been dropped, then it is a matter of legitimacy for people to demand justice for the former Luangpur Dhammakaya. Whether he is still a monk or not, he has the right as a benefactor to the Buddhist community and the Dhammakaya teachings. Anyone who is his disciple should demand justice and fairness. Even if, after demanding it to the very end, the result is not what you want or you don't get the desired outcome, those who demand it will still receive immense merit. Therefore, this is the truth. Anyone who truly believes in justice and wants to gain merit for Luangpur Dhammakaya can do so and fight until the very end. If there are enough people joining the demand, there is a chance to stop all the wrongdoings one day. So, at the very least, now we must know what is really happening at the temple and who is harming Luangpur Dhammakaya. Regardless of whether the temple considers this group's information distorted or nonsensical, let anyone say whatever they want. Intelligent people know what is right and what is wrong, based on logic and reason, and there's the law of karma to support it. It's not about distortion, but about what is right and wrong. It requires discernment, but at this point, 8 years have passed, and I don't know if anyone will truly awaken to drive change on this matter for Luangpur Dhammakaya. I hope they will follow these instructions. But if the temple staff hear and see this and still don't question it, don't seek the truth, then it's truly the karma of sentient beings. Luangpur Dhammakaya has used his current life to do many great things, and the Wat Phra Dhammakaya community is just one group. His followers whom he expected to help achieve prosperity as the first group after completing his mission on a global and cosmic scale. But it turns out that after helping on a global and cosmic scale, he didn't find all of his followers among those who benefited. This means he worked for the world and the universe, for a large number of people, but among that large number of people who should have benefited, this group, the one he loves most, wasn't included because this group didn't love him back. But to love oneself so much that one is completely deluded, that is the greatest sorrow. And this is the truth. Everyone who believes in us, please follow the teachings of the Buddha. You don't have to believe or follow us, but please practice meditation to attain the Dhammakaya. When you attain the Buddha image, he will surely come to you. You don't need to ask for it. But if you are still in delusion, if you still want to believe in the temple, if you still want to make merit because you are afraid of not getting merit, we want to tell you that from now on, there will be almost no pure merit left from Luangpur Dhammakaya. There will only be merit from offering rice to the Buddha, merit from the Dhammakaya pilgrimage, and merit from offering food to monks as usual. So that's all for now, everyone. We have done our best. From now on, please practice meditation and spread loving kindness as much as possible. We will meet again if there is an opportunity. If not, may we all return to the special realm of Dusapuri. To those who have done good deeds and escaped delusion, we rejoice and offer our congratulations. Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. And we also share all the merit we have accumulated, both secretly and openly, since building our spiritual practice with Luangpur until now, with everyone. Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Oh, P.S. I just remembered that the last dream of a truly enlightened person revealed that, after completing this mission, one will no longer use his clairvoyance and Dhamma eye to observe the community, the disciples of Wat Phra Dhammakaya. Because one has gone on a new mission, it's like one has gone to a new life, a new era. This means one can no longer expect anything from here to help the disciples. One will no longer be able to send his clairvoyance or Dhamma eye to observe or correct anything for the disciples. Only those who are not in delusion will be able to make a wish or meditate. And the light will reach one, allowing one to see with his clairvoyance and Dhamma eye. But if they remain in this community and are still in delusion, still believing in the central belief system, then delusion will continue to dominate them. He will no longer use his clairvoyance to see, no longer use his clairvoyance in the Dhammakaya to purify everyone. He is not coming back. He has gone there and will not return. He has asked us to tell you this for the last time. It is his deepest sorrow. He also gave us the song, The Dark Path of Love, to let you know that it represents his love for 02, but 02 has chosen 06. And today, 02 is following the path that 06 recommended. He is not going to the ultimate truth, nor to the path of liberation. Whether he goes to the lower realms or somewhere dark is something he can no longer control. So, if anyone doesn't want to believe this, I don't know. Everyone designs their own life. This is the best wish we can offer. It's okay if you don't believe, but if you do, you will be fortunate to escape delusion before your final moment arrives, because when your merit runs out, it runs out. May those who believe and are saved from delusion receive merit. Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu.
Avase imasamin arame arakha ewata awera hontu apaya pacha hontu anika hontu sukiyatanang pariharanto sape sata sape pana sape puta sape pukala sape atapawa pariyapana sapayitiyo sape purisa sape ariya sape anariya sape dewa sape manusa sape vinipatika avera hontu apaya pacha hontu anika hontu sukiyatanang pariharanto dukkha muccanto yatha nattha sampatito mavikaccanto kammasaka urati maya tisaya pachimaya tisaya utaraya tisaya dakinaya tisaya uratimaya nutisaya pachimaya nutisaya uttaraya nutisaya dakinaya nutisaya Ketimaya tisaya uparimaya tisaya sape satta sape pana sape buddha sape pukala sape atapawa pariyapana sapaitiyo sape purisa sape ariya sape anariya sape dewa sape manusa ปัจจาโหนตุอานิคาโหนตุสุขียตานังปริหารันตุทุกขามุจจันตุยถาลัทธะสัมปติโตมาวิกัจจันตุกัมมัสสกาพุทธังยาวะภวัคคาจาอโทยาวะอวิจิโตสมันตาจักวาเลสุเยสัตตาปัทวิจาราอัปปยาปัจจานิเวราจานิทุกขาจานุปัฏฐวาพุทธังยาวะภวัคคาจาอโทยาวะอวิจิโตสมันตาจักวาเลสุเยสัตตาพุทธเกจาราอัปปยาปัจจานิเวราจานิทุกขาจานุปัฏฐวาพุทธังยาวะภวัคคาจาอโทยาวะอวิจิโตสมันตาจักวาเลสุเยสัตตาอากาเสจาราอัปปยาปัจจานิเวราจานิทุกขาจานุปัฏฐวา